Here are today's headlines. President Duterte vows to go tougher against smugglers with the destruction of confiscated luxury cars. The Department of Justice insists on continuing the autopsy led by the Public Attorney's Office on supposed victims of the Dymvaccia vaccine. The Presidential Communications Operations Office pushes for efforts to boost literacy against misinformation. Our PNA anchor William Theo is hailed Outstanding Achiever in this year's National Consumer Choice Awards. Good day, I'm Pia Roses Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Duterte is taking a hard stance against smuggling as he personally witnessed the destruction of a fleet of smuggled luxury vehicles. He also said he is stopping the practice of auctioning smuggled cars so that nobody will benefit from these illegal items. Here's our report.
President Rodrigo Duterte led the destruction of about 30 smuggled luxury cars seized by the Bureau of Customs. The president had ordered the destruction of the fleet of luxury cars, 20 of which are in Manila, with the rest in Cebu and Davao. Duterte also said he will not auction the vehicles to ensure that even the importers would not benefit from the sale by being able to buy them legally. This is a far departure from the custom of auctioning the vehicles, with the proceeds to be used by the government. He said the government will continue its crackdown on smugglers and urged those who would import cars to pay their taxes. Customs Commissioner Isidro La Peña is confident that destroying the luxury vehicles will discourage importers from repeating their illegal activities. He said the government aims to deliver a strong message to car smugglers as their seized goods are destroyed. The activity coincides with the celebration of the Bureau of Customs' 116th anniversary. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The House of Representatives approved on third and final reading a measure strengthening the right of the people to free expression. Lawmakers approved House Bill 6834, otherwise known as the New Public Assembly Act. The bill aims to ensure the people of their constitutional rights to free speech and to peaceably assemble and petition the government for redress or grievances. The bill covers any form of concerted action aimed to present a lawful cause, express an opinion, and protest against or influence any issue or program of the government. The bill excludes picketing and other concerted action in strike areas by workers and the political meetings or rallies during election campaign periods. Any party planning to hold a public assembly is required to serve a notice to the local chief executive in charge. The bill states the responsibilities of the leaders and organizers who shall be required to ensure the peaceful and orderly conduct of a public assembly. Under the bill, one suitable freedom park or hall shall be designated in every city or municipality for purposes of public assembly. About 82% out of nearly 600 government offices passed the 2017 Anti-Red Tape Act report card survey. The Civil Service Commission said last year's numbers were higher from 78% in 2010. The CSC conducts the RCS annually to check compliance with the Anti-Red Tape Act, a law which aims to improve frontline service delivery in the government. Of those which passed, 61 offices received excellent ratings. For not meeting set standards, 92 offices or almost 16% failed the RCS, while 15 offices did not get any rating. Also in the 2017 RCS results, GSIS got the most number of service offices with excellent rating. In the LGU survey, Tagum City, Davao del Norte was rated outstanding, while Iligan City, Isabela received excellent rating. The CSC urged government agencies and the public to join the campaign against red tape to improve frontline service delivery. The Department of Foreign Affairs will look into reports that 2 Filipinos were jailed and fined in Malaysia for carrying fake MyCAD or Malaysian National Identity Card. Raul Dado, Executive Director of TFA Office of Migrant Workers Affairs, said the agency is ready to provide legal representation. In a report from Bernama, Malaysia's official news agency, the Magistrates Court sentenced Filipino national Abdullah Hawaji to 6 months in prison for possessing a fake MyCard with the name Mohilin Ali. The other Filipino, identified as Umar Baco, was charged for possession of a receipt on the loss of a fake MyCard bearing his name. Baco was fined an equivalent of 66,000 pesos in default, 5 months in jail. ARMM Governor Mujib Hataman vowed to continue the implementation of infrastructure projects amid attacks by the Abu Sayyaf group against workers undertaking the program. Hataman issued the statement after the ASG killed 2 workers and injured 2 others in the ambush last week at Lamitan City, Basilan. The victims were employees of the Department of Public Works and Highways. Hataman noted that the bandits persisted in attacking since 2012 the construction of trans-central roads in Basilan. He said the bandits are against the projects because these roads provide law enforcement and military personnel easier access to their lairs on the island. He said the trans-central roads they are building are vital to connecting communities in the region and facilitating growth and development. Meanwhile, an improvised bomb exploded at the residence of engineer Soler Undog, while another explosive was recovered at the residence of engineer Bong Lasatan in Isabela City, Basilan. Undog is the Basilan Provincial Engineer of the DPWH ARMM, while Lasatan is the Assistant Engineer of the Provincial Engineering Office. Still to come, the Department of Justice insists on continuing the autopsy led by the Public Attorney's Office on supposed victims of the Demvaxia vaccine. Filipino-American doctors led a joint medical mission for indigent patients in Davao Oriental. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Hindi po natin pinapatay ang ating mga mamamayan. Gusto po natin ipakita na nagtatagumpay po tayo sa pagtulong na mawala ang bisyo na ito.
Kahit na meron kayong pinagdaanan, ay alam ninyo na hindi kayo useless members of the society. Lahat ng tao dito ay may kanya-kanyang role dito sa ating bansa, sa inyong pamilya, sa inyong community.
Can we all stand up and give a round of applause to the IRC staff? Maraming salamat IRC staff for making the dream, weaving the dream into reality of a better, more progressive Ipugaw.
Rehabilitation, rehabilitating the nation together.
The Public Attorney's Office is expected to continue conducting autopsies on children who are suspected to be victims of the vaccine Demvaxia. This despite some doctors questioning the competence of PAO's experts examining the victims. Here's a report.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II on Monday said that the Public Attorney's Office will continue with its conduct of autopsies on children whose deaths are being linked to the anti-dengue vaccine Demvaxia. Aguirre made a statement in response to the call of Doctors for Public Welfare or DPW, which urged him to order a stop to the autopsies. The Justice Chief, however, said that he would welcome a written position from the group on why the autopsies should be stopped. The DPW called on the DOJ to stop the autopsies being conducted by PAO forensic team led by Dr. Erwin Urfe. The group alleged that Urfe was wrong in all of the 14 cases he examined, citing results of the forensic tests conducted by pathologists from the UP Philippine General Hospital. The group also lamented how the reported findings of PAO in the media have been causing public panic and discouraging parents from availing of other immunization programs. Since the PGH Dengue Investigative Task Force has been tasked by the DOH to conduct the autopsies, the DPW urged the DOJ to just leave the matter of determining the cause of death to competent forensic pathologists. Aguirre has directed the PAO to extend free legal assistance to all possible victims of dengue-related injuries, illnesses, and deaths. Apart from the PAO, the DOJ also ordered the National Bureau of Investigation to probe the controversial dengue vaccine project of the DOH that reportedly poses health risks to children already injected but without history of the disease. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
The Commission on Elections started the decryption of ballot images in connection with the 2016 election protest of senatorial bet Francis Tolentino against Senator Laila de Lima. COMELEC said the activity was witnessed by representatives of the Senate Electoral Tribunal. Tolentino's protest calls into question over 280,000 ballots from 597 clustered precincts located in 13 provinces all over the country. The decrypted ballot images taken from SD cards duly submitted by field officers will be printed with representatives of both parties, the COMELEC and the SET affixing their initials on each page. Printed and electronic copies of the ballot images will be turned over to the SET along with the printed hash codes that form part of the election audit trail. The decryption will take approximately 1 month. The Philippine Stock Exchange earned about 18% more at 825 million pesos in 2017 due to higher market activity and added savings, among others. Here's our report.
The Philippine Stock Exchange booked an 18% increase in net profits in 2017 on the back of higher operating revenues and other income. Based on unaudited consolidated financial statements, its net income reached 825 million pesos last year from the 702 million pesos for the full year in 2016. PSE President and Chief Executive Officer Ramon Monzon said the positive performance was brought by the successful execution of its major initiatives in 2017. The PSE attributed higher revenues to higher trading activity, stronger market data income, and the gain on the sale of PSE's Tektite office. It said subscription fees and market data income increased by 26% as a result of more investors using the online trading service of the exchange and the successful introduction of new data products. Operating income, however, went down by 3% in 2017 due to lower listing-related income from initial public offerings. Management was able to reduce total expenses to 596 million pesos in 2017, almost 2% lower than the previous year. In 2017, there were 3 issuances that used the new dollar-denominated facility of the exchange, which together raised $370 million, while new rules for the listing of public-private partnership projects were also launched. In December, the guidelines for short selling were submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission for their approval. Meanwhile, the PSE is on track with its scheduled stock rights offering, which was undertaken to reduce the broker's ownership in the exchange to the 20% limit mandated by the Securities Regulation Code. The SEC has already approved both PSE's registration statement filing and listing application for this offering, which has been scheduled for February 26 to March 2. Monzon assures they have set even bigger targets and milestones for the PSE in 2018. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Giselle Danganan.
The Davao City government signed friendship agreements with Jinjiang City of China and Kauai of Hawaii in a bid to improve Davao City's international relations. Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio led the signing of the sisterhood agreement with Kauai, the first entered into by Davao City and a U.S. city. Mayor Inday thanked Kauai Mayor Bernard Carvalho Jr. for visiting the city last year and initiating the Friendship Certificate, which paved the way for the signing of the Sisterhood Agreement. She said both cities can benefit from each other's agriculture, tourism, culture, trade, and commerce. Mayor Carvalho said tourism and agriculture, particularly coffee and cacao farming and production, could be just two of the areas where Davao and Kauai could work together. Mayor Duterte Carpio also separately signed a letter of intent with Jinjiang City of China for the establishment of a friendly relationship. Mayor Inday said the signing of the LOI for the establishment of a friendly relationship between Davao and Jinjiang City also showed that distance and difference in culture and language are not obstacles to attain unity in diversity. A group of Filipino-American doctors successfully completed a joint mission to help poor patients in Davao Oriental. Thousands of Davaoenos were able to avail of free medical and surgical services. Here's our report.
A warm welcome greeted almost 100 Filipino-American doctors who arrived in the city of Mati, Davao Oriental on January 28. The visiting medical professionals are members of the University of the Philippines Medical Alumni of America, who recently conducted a joint medical, dental, and surgical mission from January 29 up to February 1. The provincial government-run Davao Oriental Provincial Medical Center is the main venue of the medical, dental, and surgical mission. The doctors say they are here primarily to evaluate and treat the underserved and unserved patients in the province, citing a huge number of indigent patients in Davao Oriental. Dr. Valentin Dolorico, chairman of the UP Masa Medical Mission Committee, said the mission has a medical and dental part whose team can see 700 to 800 patients a day and a surgical part where the team can perform about 100 major and 175 minor surgeries. The UP Masa were assisted not only by the local government but also by volunteers from the Ugnayan ng Pahinungod, Manila, local partners Halad Mission Group and the Southern Philippines Medical Center and the Social Concern Foundation. All the 11 mayors in the province provided free transportation for their sick constituents from their far-flung villages to the provincial capital. Davao Oriental Governor Nelson Dayanghirang said he is deeply appreciative for the visiting doctors' acts of kindness to the weak and vulnerable. He said their contributions to the community and the difference in the lives of others less privileged mattered the most. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Giselle Danganan.
Up next, the Presidential Communications Operations Office pushes for efforts to boost literacy against misinformation. Our PNA anchor, William Theo, is hailed Outstanding Achiever in this year's National Consumer Choice Awards. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Ito ang gusto ko, total pera naman ng tao, to observe editorial independence through innovative programs and intelligence treatment, analysis of reports, as well as the development of national and international significance.
From February 19 to 21, 2018, the Presidential Communications Operations Office will launch the National Information Convention to strengthen partnership between the private and public sector, encourage communicators to influence for the common good, and to organize a movement to motivate society towards nation building. With over 1,500 communication practitioners participating in 3 days of intense communication courses. The National Information Convention, spurring national development and empowering communities through information. February 19 to 21, 2018 at the SMX Convention Center, SM Lanang, Davao City.
The Presidential Communications Operations Office is pushing to educate the public on media and information to stop the spread of fake news. Here's our report.
Amidst the increasing spread of false information, the Presidential Communications Operations Office saw a need for more extensive media and information literacy among the Filipino community, especially social media users. PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar made this call on January 30 during the second Senate hearing on fake news, stressing the importance of educating the public to exercise discernment in sharing and consumption of online information. Andanar underscored that promoting media and information literacy should be a shared responsibility and advocacy of the government, academe, relevant industry players, and the community. Andanar said PCOO established the Provincial Communication Officers Network, which aims to educate and capacitate public information officers and private individuals to be partners for change in utilizing new media for development. The PCOO is also set to hold the first National Information Convention in Davao City on February 19 to 21. The NIC aims to develop participants' capability in harnessing the power of information in contributing to social development, the need for responsible and effective use of social media, and mechanisms for citizens' participation in good governance. Also, the Philippine Information Agency will spearhead the ASEAN-Japan Media and Information Literacy for the Youth Forum in Manila on March 20 to 21 in partnership with the Infocom Media Development Authority of Singapore and with funding assistance from the Japan-ASEAN Integration Fund. Andanar added that the PCOO's mandate is not only to provide information but also to empower the public on how to use these information toward the greater good and to support nation building. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Philippine Cervantes.
Alaska clawed back from 13 points down and held off Global Port in the first overtime game of the PBA Philippine Cup at the Inares Center. The Aces rallied from a double-digit deficit before finishing the job in the extra period for their sixth straight win in the conference. Global Port found itself leading by 13 late in the third quarter before holding to an 88-82 cushion with less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth. But Alaska went on an 8-0 run to take the lead. Stanley Pringle forced overtime for Batang Pier, but it was all Alaska for the rest of the game. Vic Manuel hit 7 of his 21 points in overtime while adding 5 rebounds, 1 assist and 2 steals for the Aces, who solidified their hold of third place at 6 wins and 2 losses. Banchero and JV Casio each added 16 points, while Abueva finished with a double-double of 12 points and 12 rebounds with 3 assists, 2 blocks and 1 steal. Pringle finished with 28 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal for the Batang Pier, who slipped to 3 wins and 4 losses. Jerwin Angcajas successfully defended his IBF Junior Bantamweight title by beating Mexican Israel Gonzalez via knockout in his first fight in the United States. Angcajas quickly floored Gonzalez with his trademark left hook right at the very first round. He then delivered crisp shots the rest of the way at Gonzalez, who tried to go toe-to-toe in the 5th round. Gonzalez tried to get it on with Angcajas at the 10th round, but that opened the door for Angcajas to deliver another knockdown with a left hook. Shortly afterward, Angcajas connected with a devastating left to the head of Gonzalez that knocked out the game challenger. Angcajas moves up to 27 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw with 19 knockouts, while Gonzalez fell to 20 wins and 2 losses and getting knocked out for the first time in his pro career. Our very own William Theo is one of the awardees of this year's National Consumer Choice Award. He is among dozens of individuals recognized for their excellence in their respective fields. Here's our report.
Broadcast journalist William Frederick Theo, anchor of the Philippine News Agency's webcast PNA Newsroom, was recognized by the National Consumer's Choice Annual Awards as Outstanding Professional Achiever in the field of news and public service broadcasting last Saturday at the Diamond Hotel in Manila. Theo started his career as a field reporter and through hard work and constant desire to improve, further developed his skills until landing a position as anchor for Y News on UNTV and host for television documentary Spotlight. In 2015, Theo received the Gawad America Award for the Most Promising News Anchor and the World Class Filipino Award in 2017. Theo currently hosts the longest-running public service television program, The Mayan Ngayon, on PTV4, and alternates as a news anchor on PNA Newsroom, which airs daily on the state news agency's website. The NCCAA chose Theo for his never-ending pursuit of knowledge as a means of self-improvement, which, in turn, translates to improving the lives of others, which is what public service is all about. In his acceptance speech, Theo said he is guided by the saying, "Good deeds do not result in a bad outcome." The NCCAA also bestowed the Outstanding Achievers Award to various entrepreneurs, public officials, artists, and other industry innovators. The NCCAA is a private organization dedicated to the quest for individuals who inspire and embody equality and excellence in various fields of endeavor, including business, arts, and entertainment. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered to stop all marine explorations by foreign scientists in Benham Rice. Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol, via his Facebook account, said the president declared during the cabinet meeting on Monday that the Philippines claims Benham Rice as its own. Piñol said Duterte directed the Department of National Defense, or DND, to deploy Navy vessels and the Philippine Air Force to conduct flyovers in the area to check on the presence of foreign vessels. The Navy is expected to chase out any foreign vessel fishing or conducting researches. President Duterte reportedly made the declaration following an earlier statement by Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Geng Shuang that the Philippines cannot take Benham Rice as its own territory. Benham Rice is within the Philippines Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The Supreme Court upheld the extension of martial law in Mindanao until the end of this year. Justices voted 10 in favor to 5 against to junk the 4 petitions against martial law, with Associate Justice Noel Tiham writing for the majority. The High Court said President Rodrigo Duterte and Congress showed sufficient factual basis to extend martial law, namely the terror attack in Marawi City by the Maute Group and the need to preserve public safety. Duterte placed Mindanao under martial law on May 23, 2017. Martial law was supposed to end on December 31, 2017, but President Duterte decided to extend it for another year amid continuing rebellion in Mindanao, a requirement for martial law to be declared under the Constitution. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Bench Bondo.
Here's another look at today's headlines. President Duterte vows to go tougher against smugglers with the destruction of confiscated luxury cars. The Department of Justice insists in continuing the autopsy led by the Public Attorney's Office on supposed victims of the Dimvaksha vaccine. The Presidential Communications Operations Office pushes for efforts to boost literacy against misinformation. Our PNA anchor William Theo is hailed Outstanding Achiever in this year's National Consumer Choice Awards. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and all that it is doing for the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.